What's up everyone? Welcome to your practice. In today's flow, we are going to be focusing on breath and alignment, two principles in the Pilates practice that are super important that you should always be mindful of while you're practicing. With that being said, let's get started laying on our back. Alright, once you make your way to your back, go ahead and bring your hands down by your side. If you can touch your heels with your fingertips, then your feet are a little bit too close. So go ahead and walk them forward just a little bit so you have some space between the edge of your fingertips and your heels. And then go ahead and make sure that your feet are hips distance apart as well. Now, let's bring our hands to our pelvis. Something that you hear a lot of people talk about in Pilates class is cueing a neutral pelvis. So what neutral pelvis means is our hip bones and our pubic bone are going to be on the same plane. And depending on your anatomy, there might be a teeny tiny little space between your lower back and the floor. Now, let's take an inhale here. And as we exhale, we're going to tuck the tailbone under, pressing the lower back into the mat. And then we're going to take an inhale. We're going to arch the back, really creating some space between our spine and the floor. Good. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, press your lower back into the mat. Feel the hip bone sink and the pubic bone lift. Inhale to arch the back, feeling the hip bones lift and the tailbone tuck under. Exhale to tilt. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhale to arch. And we're inhaling through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. All right, last one like that. Inhale to arch. Feel the hip bones lift. Exhale to tuck. Press your lower back into the floor, feeling the abs draw in. And then make your way back to neutral. Now we're going to take that into a Pilates bridge. Pilates bridge, it's not just a straight lift and lower. We really want to focus on the articulation of the spine, finding that nice spinal wave movement. So the pelvis is what initiates the movement in our Pilates bridge. So you're welcome to leave your hands here on your pelvis, or you can place your hands down on the floor, whatever feels most comfortable for you. So starting with an inhale to prepare. Exhale, we're going to tuck the tailbone under, feeling the lower back press into the floor. We're going to start to press into the heels as we peel the spine off of the mat. Breath in at the top, and then a breath out to slowly ripple the spine back down. Feeling the mid-back, the lower back, and then releasing the pelvis back to neutral at the bottom. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Start to press your weight into the heels, peeling your spine off of the mat, one vertebra at a time. Breath in at the top. Breath out to slowly lower down. Nice. Let's keep this movement going. Always making sure that we're pressing the weight down into the heels. Making sure that we're not letting the knees go out to the side or cave into the center. We always want the knees directly in line with the hips. And we want to keep our gaze up at the ceiling. Softening the neck, making sure that we're not cringing here. Give me 2 more bridges. And last bridge, we're going to lift and we're going to hold. Gaze is up at the ceiling, softening the neck. And if your hands are down on the floor, then I invite you to bring your hands to your hips here. For this next exercise, we want to focus on keeping the hips nice and stable. So really engaging the core, drawing the abs in, taking an inhale to prepare. As we exhale, we're going to start to float that left foot up, bringing that left leg to tabletop. Knee stacked over the hip, shin parallel to the floor. Inhale to release the left foot down, and we switch. Exhale, bringing that right leg to tabletop. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lifting that left leg. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lifting the right leg. Nice, let's keep this going. And I had you guys bring your hands to your hips so you can really feel as you're lifting and lowering each leg, are your hips shifting from side to side. Really engage the glutes, draw the abs in to help keep those hips stable as we lift and lower. Give me one more each side. Nice. Both feet down. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, begin to wriggle the spine back down. Great job, you guys. Heel till your feet out as wide as your mat. Take a couple windshield wipers, drop both knees down to one side and then the other. Loosen those hips up a little bit. All right, now, let's bring those feet hips distance apart again. Pelvis is neutral, so again, hip bones, pubic bone are going to be on the same plane here. Maybe you have a little bit of space between your lower back. We're going to start a little exercise called marching. This is to test whether or not we can keep our pelvis stable as we start to move the legs and get into our ab work. So, bring your hands to your hips. Once again, gaze is up at the ceiling. We're going to take an inhale to prepare. As we exhale, we're going to float that right leg to tabletop again. Knees stacked over the hips, shin parallel to the floor. Inhale to lower that right foot down. Exhale, bring the left knee to tabletop. Inhale to lower. Again, as you're lifting and lowering those legs, checking in with the pelvis. As you start to lift that leg, are you tilting the hips back, pressing your lower back into the floor? If you are, it's okay. It might be your very first time trying this, but I just want you to be mindful of that. If you are shifting in the hips, can you notice that? And once you notice it, can you try to correct it? Give me two more on each side like this. Really drawing the abs in as we bring that leg up to tabletop. Last one each side. Okay, now we're going to start to add a chest lift with it. So, take your hands behind your head and keep your elbows nice and wide here. Now keep in mind that as we lift, we're not pulling on the back of the head. The hands are simply here just to support the weight of the head. Now, inhale to prepare. Exhale, we're going to lift the chest as we bring that right leg up to tabletop. Inhale to lower. Exhale, we lift. Left knee comes up to tabletop. Checking in with the hips as we lift. Exhale, we come up. Is the hip still stable? Do you still have that little space between your lower back and the floor? Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Two more each side like this. Softening the neck, softening the shoulders, making sure that we're keeping those elbows nice and wide. Last one, each leg. All right, now both feet down, take an inhale here. Exhale, we're gonna lift the chest. Take a look down at your pelvis. Make sure the hip bones and the pubic bone are still on the same plane. We're gonna keep the shoulders lifted off of the mat. Abs drawing in, inhale through the nose. Exhale, bring the right knee to tabletop. Inhale to lower. Exhale, left leg tabletop. Nice. Shoulders stay lifted off of the mat. Our hands are supporting the back of our head. One more each side. And last one. Nice. Both feet down. Take an inhale. Exhale to lower. Good job. Relax the shoulders. Nod your head from side to side. Relax that neck a little bit. Now now we're gonna move into a single leg bridge exercise. So we'll start with the right foot. We're gonna keep that right foot down on the mat, and then we're gonna bring that left knee to tabletop. Knee stacked over the hip, shin parallel to the floor. Bring your hands to your hips again. Now, same thing as we did in our regular bridge. We wanna focus on deep articulation, lifting and lowering one vertebra at a time. So we inhale to prepare. Exhale, we tilt the pelvis forward. Feel the lower back press into the mat. So to peel your spine up off of the floor, one vertebra at a time. Breath in at the top. Breath out to ripple back down. Nice, keep this going. And in our single leg bridge, I want you to keep in mind that it's totally fine if you don't get your hips as high as you do in our regular bridge. We only have one foot on the floor here, so it's okay to not lift as high here. Still think about pressing your weight down into your heel, squeezing the glutes at the top, drawing the abs in. Give me 2 more here. Gaze is up to the ceiling, neck is soft. Last one, we're gonna lift, we're gonna hold. Take an inhale, we're gonna tap our left toes down. Exhale, bring it back to tabletop. Keep those hips lifted, keep the hips stable. Inhale to lower, exhale, bring it to table. We have 3, 2, and last one. Hold that leg in tabletop, take an inhale. Exhale to lower back down. Drop that left foot down. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh for a little figure 4 stretch. You can keep your left foot down on the floor if you want a deeper stretch. Lift that foot up. Hug your knee into your chest. Take 2 deep breaths here. Right, now let's set it up for the left side. Bringing that left foot down. Right leg in tabletop, hands to your hips. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Heel your spine up off of your mat. Breath in at the top. Breath out to lower. Again, we're focusing on the articulation here, trying to find those nice, fluid spinal waves in our bridge. Weight in the heel, inhale at the top. Breath into lower. 4, 3, 2, last one. We're gonna lift, we're gonna hold it at the top. Weights down in our left heel. Inhale, pop your right toes down. Exhale, bring it back to tabletop. We got 3. Check in with that right hip, make sure it's not tipping down. 2, and 1. Inhale, exhale to lower. Good job. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh, figure 4 stretch. You can keep your right foot down if you're already enjoying the stretch here. If you want a little more, lift that right foot off of the mat. Hug your right knee into your chest. Give me 2 deep breaths here. Go ahead and release that figure 4 stretch. Now we're going to bring both knees to tabletop. Squeeze those thighs together, squeeze the knees together and the ankles together. Knees stacked over the hips, shins parallel to the floor, and point those toes. Once again, we're going to bring your hands behind your head. We're going to take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, we're going to lift the chest. Check in with the hips. Make sure the pelvis didn't shift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Really feeling the abs drawing in. 3 more here. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. 2. Keep your elbows nice and wide. Last one. We lift, we hold. Inhale, tap the right toes down, and then exhale to switch. This is stable. Abs are drawing in. We have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both knees to tabletop. Take an inhale. Exhale to lower. Hug your knees into your chest. Good job, guys. Go ahead and roll over onto one side, then press yourself back up to a seat. That is it for our little flow today. Hopefully you felt that engagement in your legs and those bridges, and hopefully you felt the abs working a little bit in the core work. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in our next class.